So, as a British guy living out here in Thailand, living out here permanently, I have noticed this growing movement in recent months, particularly, of British people are ruining Thailand. And don't get me wrong, I'm not in denial here. See, Brits abroad is not a new thing to me. It's not a new concept to me. Now, I've lived in Asia for the last 15 years, so I've been removed from all of that. I've been on one lad's holiday to Kos. I've never been to places like Falaraki, Benidorm. Never went to anywhere like that. One lad's holiday in Kos was enough. The next year, me and my friends went on a family vacation to Florida. 21-year-old lads went on a family vacation to Florida. And then from there, I decided to look further afield. I've certainly noticed this movement lately towards more younger Brits traveling out here in Thailand. One biggest question is, are there more? Are there really more young Brits coming out here? Young, yobbish, boozy Brits? Is it really more than it previously was? Or is it actually because of Zoop? Imagine this is a phone. I'm actually using my phone to record the video, but imagine this is a phone. Is it because of phones, because of social media? We are just seeing more of this now. Please, if you've clicked on the video, just give me 2 minutes to ask a couple of questions. So 10 years ago, if you were down in somewhere like Patong, one of the big issues at the moment is that people are making those crappy 7-Eleven videos. We can all agree that they are crappy 7-Eleven videos, right? They're making them, but they're not wearing a shirt. And obviously Thailand is a Buddhist country. Culture is a little bit different here. It would be respectful to put your shirt on before you go into a shop, a public place, maybe the beach, the pool, it's okay, but everywhere else, I know you should always wear a shirt. I know that because I live here, but these young lads, would they know that? I always try to give the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I want to give them an opportunity to learn before you start labeling them as disrespectful dickheads. Is this a particularly new phenomenon, or 2012, 2013, the first time I came to Thailand, would I have gone into a 7-Eleven and seen young lads, particularly, especially young lads, not wearing shirts at that time too? I guess that's the angle that I look at it from, but I think there's an actual bigger issue at play here. And I think the bigger issue is, once again, Zoop. Tell you why, because particularly TikTok is a app that absolutely thrives on controversy. They want people debating things like politics, culture, respect. People go on that app, in my opinion, with an agenda. And I'll tell you what I think that agenda is. There have always been a wide range of people coming out here to Thailand. You know, you'll see people who are like, oh, I've been here for 20 years, I've been here for 30 years. Well, at some point, they've been here for one day. The longer you stay, the more time you've been here. That's just the way time works, right? So yeah, you do learn a few things over time. I've been here for 5 years now. I've been coming here for 12 years. Obviously, I've learned more in that time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I know everything. Whilst I have opinions and whilst I respect the culture, I'm not an authority on this topic whatsoever. Now, these young, predominantly British lads, obviously they all fancy themselves as social media influencers, as does anyone nowadays. I mean, look at me, I'm making these YouTube videos, trying to make a little bit of an impact, get some views. I'm trying to keep it positive. But what I think a lot of them find is that the more controversially they behave, the more views they get. And for them, as bad as this might sound, and this, I believe, is a big issue, controversy equals views, which for some of them might equal money on TikTok. But where is this controversy coming from? Well, the controversy is coming from the gap between the people who've lived here a long time, the people who are here for a short time, being seamlessly bridged by social media. Because if you swipe through TikTok particularly, and Instagram to me always seems a little bit more vague. Maybe that's my algorithm is not quite as tuned in, but TikTok especially, if you swipe through TikTok, you are going to see anybody who is here right now. It doesn't matter if you've been here one day. It doesn't matter if you've been here 30 years. You're all lumped together. That is where these problems arise, because if you were walking down the street in Phuket, people who've been here for 30 years and people who've been here for one day probably aren't going to be interacting, but on the applications, they are interacting. The people who are arguing, the people who are causing this controversy, which is generating these views and this attention for these people, which is putting this focus on the young British tourists, especially because at the end of the day, this is where immaturity, in my opinion, plays a big part as well, is people who are living out here who don't have enough going on in their lives. And that sounds sad, but there's a lot of people who ball up to Thailand without any real purpose, be out at bars at night, but in the daytime, they've got nothing better to do than swipe through the app, looking at people, judging people, starting arguments with 21-year-old travelers. And they write their comments, go away, Thai people hate you, you don't respect the culture. Obviously, the cocky 21-year-old who's getting a few thousand views, he's, you're well cool, you're traveling in Thailand, thinks they're a bit of a celebrity. They are going to clap back and try to make more of a name for themselves at the expense of Thai culture, at the expense of the Thai people. It becomes this argument between some guy who's not doing anything with his life, who's just sitting there arguing with people on TikTok, and some young dickhead who thinks this is his claim to fame, who thinks he's some sort of ambassador for free speech. Zero respect for the actual culture. It's all about who's going to win the argument. And to me, that is the saddest part of social media. And that is really what is generating and driving this current hatred towards British people, because admittedly so, most of these dickheads clapping back towards these people online are British. I'm going to guess a lot of 21-year-old travelers aren't going to be viewing this video, but if you are viewing this video, keep it respectful, make your videos, of course, enjoy your holiday, but just realize you're in a different country, a different culture. We are guests here. Even those of us who live here are guests here. You can't just come out here and think, I've saved up money to go traveling in Thailand for a month, I can do what the fuck I want. No, you should still respect other people's cultures. You wouldn't go to somewhere in the Middle East and acts like this, for example. The laws are a lot more strictly enforced there. So just because Thai people are very polite, just because Thai people are very nice, do not think that you can just come here, behave how you want, do what you want, have a little respect, still have a great time, still make your videos. Don't get so wound up by the people online. To those people who disrespectfully address these people, I'm not talking about everyone here. I think people just generalize that they think you mean anybody who's an older guy in Thailand is an angry old man. No, it's not that. Come on, grow up. We're all smart enough to know that's not true. It's the people who go online. They don't speak respectfully to these people. They don't try and help them. They speak down to them. People hate you. Thailand wants you to fuck off back to the UK. You are the fuel that is firing these dickheads to keep going. It's partly your fault as well. If people just respectfully address these guys, even in real life, which they never would, because it's always the faceless profiles who are attacking people online. But even if you were outside 7-Eleven, you've lived here for 20 years, you see a young lad about to go inside topless. And if you just said, look, it's a Buddhist culture here, it's respectful to put your t-shirt on before you go in the shop, if you don't mind. I'm not trying to educate you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to help you because I've lived here a while. If that kid puts his top on, goes inside, then you've helped him. You've taught him something. If he turns around and says, fuck off, old man, he's a dickhead. Because there are some dickheads around. That is my 2 cents on the matter, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm sure probably some people are going to disagree with me, are going to hate on me, but I think it's not necessarily that British people are ruining Thailand. British people have been ruining places for years. I admit it. British people have been out boozing around Europe for years, boozing in different countries for years. If they're going further afield nowadays, that's not great. But I don't think they're necessarily ruining Thailand. It's just their behavior, which I'm sure has been happening long term, short term, whenever, is right there in your palm of your hand. That is why people are getting so much more angry recently than they have in the past. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.